Thanks for clicking, and follow Geekdom 101 on Twitter at Emperor Big D.
So y'all love when I debunk these articles. Now I gotta say though ahead of time, this article right here, written by Ranker, 7 theories about why Vegeta never surpasses Goku in the Dragon Ball series, by C.D. Johnson. I'm just letting you know now, this article, I haven't read it all yet. I've glanced through it. It's not as bad as some of the Screen Rant articles and some of the comicbook.com articles. Those are just embarrassing. Like, those are, like, when you read those, they just don't even think. Like, they're just embarrassingly bad by people who don't even care about the series. This article is not that bad, though. This article actually has some interesting points made and also some points that don't make any sense. Basically, what they're talking about here is this guy wrote an article saying, why is Vegeta never able to surpass Goku? Well, first of all, that's incorrect because I made a whole video called Every Time Vegeta Surpassed Goku. Vegeta has surpassed Goku many times in Dragon Ball since Z. But I think he's mostly asking why is it that Goku always overcomes him. And there's a lot of different reasons to why that is. And he outlined some right here. And some are true, some are not true, and some are true but don't really apply to this discussion. So let's go ahead and get to it right now. So the first one he wrote is Goku's a duelist while Vegeta's a soldier. Now, what he's basically talking about here is that Goku is a martial artist. He's the guy who enjoys the thrill of fighting and improving, while Vegeta's more so a soldier working under Frieza. That's what he says right here, actually, if you read the article. I'm not going to go into all the details because we don't have that kind of time for me to read the whole article, but while that may be partially true, that yes, Goku's a tournament-tested fighter, and Vegeta never really grew up like that, Vegeta was a soldier for Frieza, but at the same time, because he was the prince and Nappa was like his top guy, it wasn't like he was actually on the battle lines his entire life. There were obviously other Saiyans too, prior to the destruction of Planet Vegeta, that were involved in this whole thing. And Vegeta was so much stronger than his opponents that it wasn't really that much of a struggle for him. However, I understand the point that this writer's making, but I don't feel like that's really a big reason as to why Vegeta has not been able to surpass Goku, only because of the fact that Vegeta has become just like Goku as time went by. He's always trying to surpass himself, surpass Goku, surpass Beerus, whoever he has to succeed. He's adopted Goku's mentality. So I feel like in the more recent Dragon Ball Super stuff, specifically that, Vegeta has changed. I mean, without question, he's changed, and he's become a lot more like Goku. So, although this may have applied earlier in the series, for most of Dragon Ball Z, you could even say that he's not really tested like Goku is. They have a different mentality. Still, like, as the series progressed, I feel like Vegeta did kind of become more of a duelist, more of a martial artist, especially in the Moro arc. Saiyans get stronger after taking a good beating. Now, this one I don't think should be on the list because that applies to both Goku and Vegeta. And if we really look at the history of these characters, there's a possibility that Vegeta may have been beat up more than Goku has. You know what I'm talking about? Vegeta has taken some poundings, in his life. And I feel like this is, he's like, the statement itself is not wrong. If you are a member of the Saiyajin race, the Saiyan race, if you are close to death or if you get beat up real bad, you do get a boost of power. A Zenkai boost is what it's called by the fandom. I did a whole video on it. It's been talked about by everyone, right? But I'm not necessarily sure that applies here because Goku and Vegeta have been at equal power numerous times in the series. And not just that, Vegeta has been able to surpass Goku at numerous times, including when he used and exploited the Zenkai for his benefit. So, what I think he's trying to say is that we saw Goku on screen battle since he was a little kid. We've seen the Red Ribbon Army, the Piccolo arc, the tournament arcs, Baba, all that stuff. With Vegeta, we didn't see his history. But we know some of it, but we don't know every fight he's been in. But I feel like that doesn't apply anymore. Again, this could have applied for like Vegeta Saga stuff. But even then, Vegeta was stronger than Goku. Goku could not have beaten Vegeta without the Kaioken in that first fight. So I don't think that really applies, dude. I think he's trying to make points, but I don't think they really support his argument about why Vegeta has trouble surpassing Goku. Really, if you want me to be honest with you, a lot of it I think is main character plot shielding. If you want me to be real with you here. Point number 3 is Goku's selfishness gives him an advantage, or selflessness. Now, both Vegeta and Goku have been very selfish and very selfless. They've had moments of doing both, and I feel like even though this might come off like some kind of a choice that's really thought-provoking and kind of deep philosophically, it doesn't really work for Dragon Ball because Goku being selfless, I don't think makes you stronger. However, I do think, what I think he should have written here, and this was a big point during the fight with Jiren, if you remember in episode 130 of Dragon Ball Super, was that Goku has a stronger tie to his friends than Vegeta does. However, Vegeta has proven time and time again that he has a much stronger bond to Bulma, Trunks, Bra, and of course now Kaba. So I feel like once again Goku and Vegeta are going down a mirrored pathway. And I think that Goku, the reason as to why Goku really has been throughout Dragon Ball Z one step ahead of Vegeta is because Goku is a much more focused fighter and much more open-minded. He's had different kinds of training techniques. He's been trained by different trainers. You know, from childhood, we've got Roshi, Grandpa Gohan trained him a little bit. Karin-sama. We've got eventually Kaio-sama. Kami trained him. Mr. Popo, of course, helped out. And then later on, we have Whis. And then, of course, Goku also learned things from the Metamorans and the Yardrats. Vegeta, just recently in the Moro arc, learned from the Yardrats for Spirit Fission. So again, they're going down similar pathways now, but if you're going back to Dragon Ball Z, it is something that Goku is a smarter fighter than Vegeta. I mean, it just, some folks don't want to say that, but throughout Dragon Ball Z, even though Vegeta may have been tactically a better hand-to-hand fighter, Goku's knowledge of versatility, that's the word I'm looking for, versatility, I've always felt was higher than Vegeta's. You know what I mean? And especially with the techniques he knows, like the Genki Dama and the teleportation, which Vegeta also kind of knows now after the Moro arc. So, you know, he's talking about how Goku's greatest strength comes from helping each other, and that is a good point, but I feel like, again, with Vegeta and his thoughts of Bulma after he blew himself up against Majin Buu and that version of Vegeta, the good guy version of Vegeta, I think he's also come a long way himself. Goku simply has more raw talent than Vegeta. Now, that is kind of the point I was making in that, but I don't know if it's really worded correctly here, because remember, Vegeta is the super elite. Goku is the low-class warrior. It's actually the opposite. If you really break it down. Vegeta has always been this sort of prideful, egotistical fighter throughout most of Dragon Ball Z, and he felt like he deserved to be more powerful than Goku, that it was his birthright to rule over Goku, and that Goku's beneath him. Kakarot is beneath him. Until the end of the series, when Vegeta acknowledges that Goku's number one. And I think the reason for that is not talent, it's hard work. Goku put in a lot of work. Goku was the one that learned how to train in gravity before Vegeta even did. Vegeta copied Goku's gravity training, if you remember, and kept using it. Goku was the one who sort of first got a taste of the God power in Super and wanted to keep going with that. Now, obviously, Vegeta also wanted it, but, you know, Goku tasted it first. So I don't think it's about talent. That's not what I think. I think it's about versatility and about hunger and about the need to train harder. But as Dragon Ball Z progressed, you saw Vegeta, once again, becoming more like Goku, training harder, doing what it took to get to that level. Goku's ties to the Monkey King mythos prove he can't fail. I don't like this being one of the options because, first of all, Goku does fail a lot. Goku's lost many fights. Goku makes mistakes all the time, so that's literally incorrect. Sorry, buddy, but you're wrong. Second of all, the reason why I don't like this choice is because we're going in a very meta direction. They're talking about the fact that Son Goku is based on Sun Wukong from Journey to the West. The problem is that although the inspiration for Dragon Ball was Journey to the West originally, Son Goku is a very different character from the Monkey King. They are different characters. They don't even behave that similarly. They may have similar stuff as far as transformation goes, not in the way they look, but they have multiple transformations. Obviously, the cloud and the stick, which is things that the Monkey King originally did, and obviously sort of that empty head that, you know, Goku and the Monkey King are both characters that have what's referred to as the empty head, where not that they're dumb or anything, even though some would say they are, but they're able to fill that head with knowledge of combat and not be married to one concept, sort of like what Jeet Kune Do was to Bruce Lee, right? Well, that might be true, but comparing Goku to another character he's based off of is not an in-universe explanation. That's just more Toriyama's writing. And to me, that's like what I said earlier about Goku having plot shielding. Like, I get why he posted this, but he's saying here that the issues that Vegeta might be cursed to live in the shadow of Goku. But it's like, dude, the reality is that Goku's the main character. I know a lot of Vegeta fans can't accept this, especially ones that only watch Dragon Ball Z, which, if you've only seen Dragon Ball Z, you haven't watched Dragon Ball. I mean, you just haven't watched the entire series. It's like watching The Empire Strikes Back and not Star Wars. You have to watch all of it to get the whole story. Dragon Ball is the story of Goku, from child to grandfather. There are other characters like Vegeta, like Gohan, like Krillin, like Beerus. They're all, you can have your favorite, but it's the story of Son Goku. Point blank. Should Goku win every fight? No. Should he always beat the main villain? Probably not. I'm okay with Vegeta getting a win once in a while. But the way things are, Vegeta will always be number 2 because it's not his show. You know what I mean? It's not his show. And the story's always been Vegeta catching up to Goku, which he has done a couple of times. You know, a few times actually. Is Goku an energy vampire? Now, he's talking about the Genki Dama, the spirit bomb, how it absorbs energy. See, again, he makes a decent point here about how Goku knows how to do things like Genki Dama, and if you actually go even deeper, Kaioken. But the problem is that, once again, now in the Moro arc, Vegeta knows Force Spirit Fission, which has very similar properties as far as energy manipulation goes. So Vegeta has made himself a better fighter himself. And because of that, you know, he's talking about basically that, he's basically saying that because Goku knows the Genki Dama, the spirit bomb, that it puts him over Vegeta. And the answer is, I guess it did, if you believe in that. But now that Vegeta knows Force Spirit Fission, I mean, it's almost the same thing, dude. So, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to really say as a reason as to why Vegeta couldn't surpass him, because Vegeta may have when it comes to energy. Now, number 7 is too much like number 6, which is, does Goku produce more ki energy than Vegeta? And the answer is, it depends on what we're talking about here, because with Ultra Instinct, that's a totally different kind of transformation than like Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 use inner ki. Super Saiyan 4 and Ozaru use Brute Waves with the inner ki. Lots of power. Super Saiyan God and then Blue and then Rose, you know, all the God forms, they use God ki in a similar sense. Ultra Instinct is about all those energies plus having an empty head. Migate no Gokui, the mastery of self-movement, allowing your body to move on its own, which does require training. You have to learn how to do that, or at least practice, which is what Vegeta did with Whis. So, it just depends, because at times Vegeta can give off more energy than Goku. For example, with Vegeta's finishing moves, like the final explosion, the final flash, Vegeta harnesses a crap ton of energy for those moves, just like Goku would do his Super Kamehameha. So the idea here is that, you know, he's talking about how the source of a Saiyan's power is the ability to use and manipulate ki. And it's like, well, no, that's every character. That's every martial artist in Dragon Ball. In all of Shonen, when you think about it. You don't have to be a Saiyan to know how to do that. And he's basically saying that Vegeta can't tip Goku's scales when it comes to power. But again, that's wrong. Like, this article, let me explain how I feel about the article. It's not a terrible article, but like, he makes interesting points, although they're not all right, but it has nothing to do with why Goku is more powerful than Vegeta or why Vegeta can never surpass him. Like, he's making points that don't really connect with the purpose of the article. So, like, it's almost like, it's not, I don't want to say it's clickbait, but like, he mistitled it. He should have called it something more like the differences between Goku and Vegeta's fighting philosophy, or the history of the differences of Goku and Vegeta, because it doesn't really explain anything. Plus, you have to remember, Vegeta has surpassed Goku numerous times in the series and probably will again at some point. These guys go back and forth, and like Vegeta said in Resurrection F, they need each other to get better. They need each other to improve. Vegeta says that to Frieza. So, as a Vegeta fan, you have to always remember that Vegeta will surpass Goku, and then Goku will surpass him, and it just goes. And that's how it goes with these guys. That's how it goes. So that's it for this article breakdown. Not much to it. Like I said, it wasn't infuriating or anything, but I think it's just kind of mistitled. And although he made a couple of good points and a couple of not so good points, it's not really. It's irrelevant to the debate. It's irrelevant to the point, which is Goku is more powerful than Vegeta usually because of the fact that he is, like I said, more versatile and more open-minded. However, Vegeta has changed big time, and because of Vegeta's change, it's anyone's ball game now. You know what I mean? Vegeta could learn UI at any point in the series at this point, like if he really tries. You know what I mean? He's strong enough to do it. So it's anyone's ball game. That's it. I'll talk to you soon.